Hello, everybody. Hello. It is Wednesday. Who is joining us tonight? Who is joining us tonight? Jennifer has reclaimed the top spot. Good to have you with us tonight, Jennifer. And Kitty. How are you both tonight? Great to have you both with us tonight. Hey, Dana. Russ, are you on the treadmill? Are you on the treadmill, Russ? You are supposed to be on the treadmill. I forgot to text you first. Nancy, joining us for the live. Kelly and Eric. Great to have you with us. Dawn. Great to have everybody joining us tonight. Hey, Kristen, Suzanne, and MJ. Cheers. Jeremy Davis has got the marquee ablazing. How are you, Jeremy? Jenna. All right, I'm glad. And I'm going to make this a long one, Russell, because you're on the treadmill. Yay, Kitty. I'm glad to hear that. On the treadmill in Albuquerque. All right. Hey, Adele and Dazzle, I know you're not on the treadmill. Hey, Claire, great to have you with us. Great to have everybody here. What are we grateful for this hump day? It is hump day, everybody. Hey, Karen. Continuing to make changes out there in Newfoundland. Hey, Jenny. Thank you, Kristen. Yes, in Massachusetts, you can get your hair cut. I can't open a retail store, but you can have your hair cut. And yeah, I guess I'm told that this shade of blue comes out good on me. I'm told. Thank you. So what are we grateful for? I will start. Look what I got. Cheers. My new glass. Las Vegas opens June 4th. All right. Grateful to mow your parents' lawn. Well, I'd be grateful if you came and mowed my lawn too, Kelly. That is awesome. That's good. What a good daughter you are. We'll get there, Kristen. I think that's why we got haircuts allowed, is because the Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts wanted her hair done. It's the glass, Eric. Twisted tea still, well, I don't do the tea, but the frozen whiskey glass is and the idol has landed in Alaska. Mask-wearing customers. Staff came back. Yes, this is my favorite glass. Different brand than I had before, Visky. But yes, that is my positive thing. Sonia, watching live? Great to have you with us. Best days of sales have been down for. That is awesome. Hey, the Johnsons are with us. Angie Houlis is with us. Crystal Steven. What a plum of a person to join us. Great to have you with us in Colorado. Thank you, Suzanne. Largest sales day since owning your store. That's awesome. Okra's in the skillet. All right. Well, I'm itching for a road trip. I do admit that, Sonia. I'm going to have to make a whole loop. I got to do a visit and do a southern loop. You would think COVID-19 would come up right in the spell check by now, Karen. It's all good. It's all good. Well, that's a lot of good stuff going on, people. A lot of good stuff. Especially when the register's ringing. Register ringing is very good. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Hello from Fargo, Twiggy. Great to have you with us. Awesome to have you with us. Glad that everybody is here tonight. Well, let's get this party started. Now that we've heard what we're grateful for, hey, Sylvia joining us tonight. Your landlord's awesome, Karen, and I'm glad that that form is filled out. And money, you know, super simple. Canada's made everything simple. I think I finally made a deal with one of my landlords today. He's been itching to, but he was not happy when he found out that TJ Maxx, which he rents to, is getting $180 million. Hey, Bonnie and Park, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us in the ATL. Well, it is hump day here. Hey, Trisha's joining us today, too. This is awesome. Great to have everybody on tonight. We start every day and night with our Good Morning, Good Night book, our Good Morning, Good Night book, and our Good Morning today. Our Good Morning today is Good Morning. I know it seems like everyone left without you for the party, and those stepsisters suck, but us woodland creatures are on your side. There is a good one, and the artwork is great. So when I show you that at the end, make sure you stick around to the end for that. And I had to upgrade my binder clip with how much stuff I'm carrying around and things that are happening. So governors are signing laws to protect employers from the negative impact for to their experience ratings for unemployment due to the COVID-19 crisis. And they're doing that across the country. Massachusetts signed theirs today. I told you if it hadn't been signed in your state, it is coming, and it continues to be coming around the country, so we're not going to be on the hook for those things. For our unemployment rates going up or skyrocketing because of this. Hey, Pat in the Peanut Gallery, great to have you with us. Tractor Supply says e-commerce will push earnings well above forecasts. The home improvement retailer said it expects earnings well ahead of analyst estimates of $1.78, closer to $2.65, and it sees revenue of almost $3 billion for the quarter. And it's issuing sales growth guidance of between 20 and 25%. Seeing substantial growth in e-commerce and their contactless options. So that is good news for retail. Something good in retail happening. Not good in retail is Tuesday morning announced that they are filing Chapter 11 and that it plans to shut nearly a third of its 700 stores. Okay, so they intend on remaining in business, but a third of their stores are expected to close in the 230 range, and they expect to exit Chapter 11 in the early fall with roughly 450 locations. They also plan to renegotiate a significant number of its existing leases with landlords during the restructuring process. They also got another $100 million in financing to help as it works its way through bankruptcy. And it needs another $25 million to see itself through. They said that they've actually reopened more than 80% of its stores that have been shuttered during the pandemic, with over 7,300 people returning to work. One of the interesting notes about it is that they talk about pandemic-induced bankruptcies versus bad business-induced bankruptcies. And they talk about the Tuesday morning falling into the category of pandemic-induced bankruptcy. So, which is a much better category per se, and will have people, banks and landlords, much more willing to work with them. That is Tuesday morning, Kristen. Tuesday morning I was talking about. And not a surprise on the crime front. Talk about crime for a second. And I told you that organized crime was a huge concern for major retailers as part of the reopening process, is organized crime. And a suspect is being sought in upstate New York store thefts that's taking advantage of the COVID-19 mask guidelines to hide their identity to police. And, you know, there's lots of people wearing a white mask and a New York Yankees hat in upstate New York. So, you know, not as easy to identify, and there's going to be a lot more of things like that in the news as we move forward, because the criminals are itching to take on and really pick up. They, you know, organized retail crime, organized retail crime has really been on the unemployment rolls too, and they can't just go and apply for unemployment while they're on, from organized retail crime. I mean, it's shut down. All the stores being closed has shut down their business. They can't go get a PPP or an EIDL loan to see them through to the other side. They need the stores to open back up, and they need to make up for lost time. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Jennifer, great to have you with us. Jennifer Dodds joining us here in the program. So, exit rights in your leases. So this is a topic as stores are navigating this and navigating what to do with their spaces, how to continue, how to move forward. We talked about negotiating rent, and we've talked about different things. But exit clauses in your leases. Can't hear me? Is anybody else having a problem? Kitty says she can't hear me, and I'm the loudest guy in the room. Is everybody else okay? Give me some likes or something. Or maybe I should stop talking. Do-wa-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-do. Okay, I'm seeing likes, Kitty, so I think it's you. Hop up and down. Maybe storms are going through Illinois? Okay, so I'm seeing likes so people can hear me. It's a kitty. It's a problem in Illinois' internet. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to continue on. So, how to negotiate an exit from a lease. Okay, it is a common tactic to have pre-negotiated things in the lease, liquidated damages should you have to exit a lease early, but the language differs greatly, and most small businesses have no exit clauses in their lease, okay, and don't know how to negotiate a lease should you be closing. And there are some people that it's okay that they're closing right now, okay, that are using the pandemic to say, I don't love being in business. I don't love what I'm doing. And that's okay. You know, I hate to see any business close, but if you're not in business and you don't love being the store owner, you don't love being a shopkeeper, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It is okay to admit that. But the key to that is, you know, you have to know what obligations you're under and what you're under personally and professionally, or corporation-wise in your leases. So it is a good time, especially as people are reading their leases, as you negotiate with landlords, and some are quickly signing amendments to their leases to make sure that you understand what those guarantees say, what you are signing, okay, and really read it, you know. Somebody says, I'm going to give you 2 months free, we're going to move it to the end, just sign this form. What else is in that form, and what are you really agreeing to? So that is becoming a big issue for people, and it's something to take in mind. And it's something to keep in mind all the time, because so many people sign their leases when they're first opening their stores, and they're just so excited to get open. They have found the perfect spot, the perfect place for their business. And they just want to get open, and they know how much they're going to have to write a check for, but they don't know what all these other words in the lease say. So knowing that and negotiating that, knowing everything in a commercial lease is negotiable, is an important thing to have in mind. For example, while I'm important to our business operationally, okay, much more important is Cassandra that actually understands the merchandise and things. So we have clauses in our leases, should she not be able to work, that we can get out of them, okay, and end our lease like it was completed. Hey, Angela, good to see you. We also have clauses in our leases should the business cease to exist, okay? And that is another important clause that we've used in our leases, because I always want to have long-term relationships with our landlords. But if something happens that causes our business not to exist anymore, not that I want to move to the spot across the street that's newer and hotter, but we just completely cease to be in business, that we have a liquidated damages. I like negotiating that all in advance. But just be aware of what you are signing, especially as you sign lease amendments and deferrals, so that you know what you're getting yourself into. Hey, Marianne and Zach, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us. Especially in the coming years, as we've talked about in other programs, there's going to be pressure on leases to go down. So that is important. So where is the happiest place on earth? The happiest place on earth is in Orlando, Florida. Orlando, Florida. Walt Disney World. And some of you know from this program is a very important spot in our household. If you caught Sunday night's program with Rebecca in her Mickey ears. Rebecca in her Mickey ears is waiting for Walt Disney World to open up, and they have announced they will be opening on July 11th. July 11th, Walt Disney World will be opening. More than a month after the Universal Orlando opened, and Epcot and Hollywood Studios will open on July 15th. And SeaWorld officials are saying they're targeting June 11th. SeaWorld's a cool place, too. Rebecca, I think, has her trip to Disney World rescheduled for just after Labor Day, like around the 9th or something. I don't know. Sometime in there, my credit card will be at Disney World. That is what I have heard. So, that will be what's happening there. So, I know some of us have complained about slow unemployment benefits. Our friends in Florida have been a big complainer of that. Connecticut. There's lots of states where unemployment benefits have been slow. And yes, them opening will bring back more customers. I don't like going to Disney in the summer. I've done it. But I would like to get back to the happiest place. I'm game. I used to go down every Thanksgiving, and I would be okay with a trip down to the Orlando area. And that would be mighty fine, a trip to Florida. So I am down with that. I'm down with just going away. Yes, well, there's also a huge amount of, they are catching up. The states are catching up, but there's a huge amount of fraud. So fraudsters are using previously stolen identity data to apply for unemployment benefits and redirect unemployment benefits to other accounts. So apply for unemployment benefits as Angela and redirect it to Neil is the kind of thing that's going on. And so they're finding some of this partly because criminals are ultimately stupid. So instead of directing illegal unemployment benefits to 100 different accounts, they direct them to one account. So it makes it a little easier, but there's a lot of fraud going on in this. And we know that there would be, but this is a big issue. And, so it is a thing that has to happen, and we'll deal with it. Oh, always love to stop by our Resale World headquarters when I'm in the Orlando area and catch up with you guys. I like that whole area. We used to vacation down there for weeks at a time, do some of the parks, but there's so many great areas outside of Orlando. Go antiquing in Mount Dora. there's so many great places and so many non chain restaurants to dine at and some great places to eat at, that aren't part of the main Disney attractions and everything else, although we have a great time with that as well. There's lots to do in that area. An interesting take on things where, hey, Joe, great to have you join us this evening. I like the title of this article, A Bargain with the Devil, and Airbnb hosts that just kept on buying up property because they could rent it out in areas that were hot for Airbnbs are finding lots of problems now as nobody's traveling. So, and their mortgages are coming due, and so a lot of those properties are going to be back on the market cheap, or there's going to be a lot of foreclosures on them coming up if they can't get that full travel going, which is just interesting. There's a lot of issues, and most of us don't have to deal with it except for the fact that we have to deal with it from an employee perspective. But school being out for summer and the unavailability for childcare and the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. Now, keep in mind, businesses can opt out of that if they have under 50 employees, and it would cause a hardship to the business. So you're not obligated under the actual act in most cases, although there is not a formal way to opt out of it yet. But businesses, most of the businesses that are watching this, it will not apply to, except for the fact that you may need to have some accommodation for your best employees. Some of my processing team is my longest term team members. They have kids. We're always working around their schedules in the summer to get creative with how we get everything done. But that is going to be an issue for some businesses as we navigate that. But the direct costs of the Families First Act does not apply to masks. Not a surprise, but face masks policy leads to COVID-19 lawsuit against a Texas restaurant, claiming that her employer prohibited her from wearing a face covering at work despite federal recommendations and local orders that such coverings should be worn by employees. A Texas cook sued the restaurant that she says took her off the schedule after she objected to the company policy. And she won in court. Shocking. Shocking that she won in court. She doesn't want to be named. She's going by Jane Doe for fear of retaliation by her employer. But she's going to probably have more retaliation from her coworkers. Everybody that works with her knows about it. And again, face mask things, as an employer, if somebody wants to wear one, in many of our states, especially in the north, we're required to have our employees wear them. Down south, it is more flexible, but, you're going to have to let people wear them if they want to wear them is basically what that's going to come down to in labor law and everything else. So they're going to be, that's not the first lawsuit or the last lawsuit we're going to see of that. Laura and Kurt have joined us, and Krita, great to have you all with us tonight. Cheers. Coronavirus hiring. I know that's been a topic on here, hiring new employees, bringing people back on, doing different things. One of the things that is catching on for hiring, and it's weird to me, it is absolutely weird to me, but that just shows that I'm old, okay, is having a whole text interview or text conversation about hiring. Hey, Patty, great to have you with us. Yeah, to me, that is just weird, okay? I can see having a FaceTime. I can see doing Zoom interviews, which are some of the new methods, and using different things, but, so doing various video things, but actually having a whole text back and forth interview is a little weird to me. but it's recruiting reimagined during the crisis is what they call it, and that is something that is catching on. Apple's going to open 100 more retail stores this week, offering curbside, with more than half offering curbside pickup only. The reopenings this week are happening across Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Nevada, Missouri, Michigan, New Mexico, Ohio, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, Virginia, and Utah. They'll initially provide curbside service or storefront service only, where we provide online order pickup and Genius Bar appointments. Face coverings will be required for all their teams and customers, and will provide them to customers who don't bring their own. Temperature checks will be conducted at the door, and posted health questions will screen for those with symptoms like cough or fever, or have had recent exposure to someone infected with COVID-19. So, and I've learned that's one of the tricks to getting a test faster. So if you have an employee who says they were near someone that may have had COVID-19, okay, and they're worried about exposure, getting them tested faster is not usually quickly done by saying you have been near someone, actually saying you have a cough, any of the known symptoms, okay, your fever's been a little high, whatever, will get you tested quicker, is the terminology that I have learned this week as I've helped a couple people navigate different issues with employees who have been near someone. We had someone who was near someone of someone, and they got tested this weekend, who works for us, and but they're negative, which was good. And but yes, saying that they actually had a cough or something was what got them tested quickly. And quite honestly, it's a mental health thing at that point. Okay, if you think you might have it, okay, waiting a week for a test or something is, is torture. I mean, it's the same as having your business closed. I mean, it's just the pressure and the torture on it to people is just really heavy. So I know testing is ramping up, and that will continue to happen. So that's a good thing. I mean, my mother-in-law's got to get a test before surgery next week. So, but they expedite people that need surgery, so that will happen there quickly too. Macy's real estate assets are figuring into its refinancing plan. Macy's, business has plunged in COVID-19, announced that it's putting up $1.1 billion in secured notes, which mature in 2025. Macy's is intending to use the money it's borrowing, along with cash on hand, to repay its current loan of $1.5 billion, and the debt will be secured by some of Macy's real estate assets, including the company stores in downtown Brooklyn, Union Square in San Francisco, State Street in Chicago, in addition to 35 base mall stores and 10 distribution centers, which all combined have a value of about $2.2 billion. This will give the retailer approximately $3 billion of revolving credit line, including a $300 million revolving bridge credit facility that will mature at the end of the 2020 calendar year. It's all about survival. So and so it's about them getting through 2020 and 2021. Talked about our buddies at Hertz the other day, okay, and them filing for bankruptcy with $1 billion on hand. And businesses that have needed to file bankruptcy, they needed to retain their executives because there's such a hiring spree of executives right now. we wouldn't want these executives to have to collect unemployment. So we gave them $16.2 million in bonuses on May 19th, just prior to filing bankruptcy, to keep them around while the company attempts to reorganize. Okay? And the newly promoted, so the person who was just promoted got $700,000 just 3 days after taking on his job. Sign on for the job. Oh, we're going to file for bankruptcy. Let me give you an extra $700,000 because we want you to stay to this new job that you took during a pandemic. I might be willing to take such a job. Okay? I might be willing to sign up for such a thing. That was Hertz, Patty. That was Hertz. And I like Hertz in general, but that is what the big companies do. I'm disappointed in it, but it is what big companies do. And it's really disrespectful to the rank and file. I mean, how many people could you have kept employed? How could you have helped keep things going longer? What could you have done? Where we in small business do everything to pay everybody else before us. I've told this story, at the beginning of the pandemic, what do you pay? My bank was like, what do you need? Okay, I have a good community bank, and they're like, what do you need? And I'm like, we're going to be okay. I'm like, if anything, I said, just make sure payroll's covered. I said, if I get down to anything, that'll be the only thing that I want you to make sure is covered for me. And they're like, you're the only person that's talked about their people today. And, we always care about others first. And that's a difference in small business versus insulating yourself as part of the corporate C-suite. Okay? It just doesn't happen in small business. So, and I didn't end up needing my bank to do anything for me. But that is the one thing that I asked for. And they were practically in tears over that I was asking about my people. They're like, we've talked to so many people today, and you're the only one that's asked about it, said they don't cover my staff. Many of you saw today that Walmart, in theory, is entering the resale market with their ThreadUp partnership. Okay, this is like a lot of other things ThreadUp is doing. Everybody wants a taste of resale right now. I mean, all they're really doing is giving ThreadUp a wider audience. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, because ThreadUp on Walmart's site, which gets a lot of traffic, and also in the past we've seen a lot of fakes on Walmart's site, and weird things. We'll have to see what happens as ThreadUp is part of Walmart's marketplace there. Time will tell on that. I'm not expecting it to turn into much. With that, as it hasn't in most other places, but in case you didn't hear, Boeing is set to announce massive layoffs. By Boeing's size, it's not massive. Well, they've warned of cuts to about 10% of their workforce. This is only about 2,500 employees. Boeing employs about 160,000 people. But it's really all the other businesses that Boeing does business with. Their whole supply chain in the U.S. is what is where the real worries. The place that makes one little clip or screw or something for the various airplanes that Boeing manufactures is what makes Boeing a too big to fail company throughout the economy and what happens with that. So we will have to watch how that plays out. And a lot of Boeing's staff is very skilled. So it's not, even their hourly workers are very, very skilled. Some of you may even have seen some of the new ads Ford is running right now that talks about them as the largest U.S. hourly wage employer car company. And there are a lot of companies that are making cars in the U.S., but Ford is the largest, by Ford's numbers anyways. I haven't verified that. But it is, there are a lot of various aspects to this and a lot of different wages and a lot of good things that Ford does in the community and throughout the country. So, and for dealers do throughout the country. So it is a trickle effect throughout. Amtrak's going to cut 20% of its staff. 20% of its staff in the next fiscal year. Okay, they've seen their ridership dwindle by more than 95% in recent months. As a result of the almost immediate shutdown of travel. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because especially in the Northeast, there's a lot of rapid corridors like New York to Boston, New York to D.C., and such that run a lot of routes and a lot of trains. So we'll have to see how that all plays out there. And hang on one second, see what else I got here. Hey Vina, great to have you here tonight. Catching us live. Loved your new live desk or shipping desk or whatever you were calling it, the organized desk. That was a great piece of furniture you posted. You're going to have a lot of store owners jealous with that piece that you're adding to your store. I think it was on your store page tonight. But that was a great piece to share out, and just innovative, smart and efficient design of it. So, it was really very nice. So, questions of my time tends to get spent on a lot of PPP stuff still, and I have a lot of people that I owe calls to, and I am further shipping desk. That's what it was called. Thank you, Kristen, for getting me the correct name. You know I'm never good with names, but I appreciate that. Love that. Marianne thinks the only thing that would make it better is if it was pink. Just saying. And she's close enough to Indiana, she may drive and pick it up, or send Zach to pick it up. A lot of things with FTEs and hitting those dates. And I think we're going to hit the dates. We're going to get there with that. We're with the 15s, well, hang on a second. The FTEs, again, a lot of that is going to wipe out. The safe harbors are getting much easier on that. And that is going to be, I think a lot of you are going to be okay. As I work with individuals, a lot of you end out being okay with that. The concern, again, is the spend in the 8 weeks. I expect next week that we will have an extension of time to spend PPP money. I'm almost, if I were a betting man, 99% positive that we will get an extension of that. Probably to 16 weeks, not as much as 24 that I know is being pushed for. Yes, Lisa, you are still on my call list. My call list, where is my call list? My call list is thick, and these are only the ones I've printed. I got more toner delivered today, so I can print more of my call list. The shipping desk is Selective Seconds, Kelly. Selective Seconds in Greenwood, Indiana, is the store with the fantastic shipping desk. If you look on Vina's site, you will see that. So I will get caught up on calls this week. Probably not tomorrow. I've had to gotten distracted the last 30 seconds. Yes, Nana fell in the garden. So for those of you who have not heard from me personally about that, Nana fell in the garden yesterday and broke her arm, and so we met with the surgeon today, and next week we get to have surgery. So so that is tied up my time a little bit today, and time keeping Nana resting properly versus things she thinks she can still do, even though her arm is broken and her whole side is completely bruised from the fall in the garden. So that would be that is taken up a bunch of my time. Well, Marianne, she heard about little Missy getting to go to the hospital and getting to go to Culver's and stuff, and she was jealous. Yes. So next week we have surgery scheduled. I just got to get a couple of doctors to sign off on that tomorrow. But that shouldn't be a big deal. I've actually pretty impressed with the recovery time of it. So, the doctor's pretty sure that she'll have a quick recovery, after the surgery, which is good. So, but that has sucked up a little bit of my time. But I will get caught back up. And don't worry, she's still throwing peanut gallery things at me and poking me with the cane and doing all sorts of other horrendous things. She was good at the surgeons today, so I did take her for ice cream afterwards. So we did go to the ice cream place afterwards today. Hey, Ellen and Mike, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us. She didn't get we don't have Culver's here in Marianne, but I did take her to Collins Creamery, which is a local ice cream farm. The cows are right out there while you're there. She did want me to get more while I was at the creamery. So the cows are literally right there that they get the milk from, that makes the ice cream, the whole 9 yards. It's really a great family-run business. And she wanted me to get more compost because they offer the cows compost for the garden, the cow pies, and no, I was not picking that up while we were there. I got ice cream. Yeah, I did get ice cream for Nana, and but I did not get huh? No, I was not putting compost in the Lexus. That's what it was coming down to. Would I put compost in the Volvo? Yeah, I'd probably put compost in Nana's Volvo, but I was not putting compost in the Lexus. That's what I'm saying. Zach, you better rush out and get Marianne ice cream. Yeah, I was not putting cow chips in the Lexus. It just wasn't happening. I was right there, but it was not happening, okay? I mean, there was still that time where I drove into Lexus for service, and I just passed I just gotten into Lexus for service, but on the highway as I was getting off, there was a skunk that was spread across the road. You couldn't miss it in any way, and my car stunk to high heaven, and I pulled into the service bay, and they had somebody pull it right out. But that's neither here nor there. I was not putting a cow pie in the Lexus. It would have been a mature cow pie. No, still not happening in the Lexus. Not. I got her ice cream, okay? I got her ice cream. Yes, and I had... Yes, I know Zach would have for little Missy, but no, wasn't happening. Not happening. Cheryl, to answer your question, I did not say that it has been extended to 16 weeks. I'm expecting an extension. So if I were a betting man, I am betting that it will get extended. Yes, but the skunk smell was a long, long time ago. I just remember the time that because I got off the highway, literally the exit for Lexus, and that skunk was spread literally straight across. There was no going around it. And somebody else had already run over. There was just, everybody was running over it. Everybody was going to smell like skunk. So it's not like the guy that worked for my father once that used to do something with skunk skins. So, he would deliver oxygen and say, oh, a skunk on the road. He would stop in the work truck and pick it up, okay? In between delivering hospital beds and oxygen and things of that nature and prescriptions for pharmacy. Cheryl, I'm expecting something next week. Okay, I'm expecting something next week. The first of the PPPs, Cheryl, are coming up in the next week or so. Okay, the 8 weeks is up for people that got their PPPs on day one of the PPP, that actually had money in their account on day one or day two, are coming up in the next week or so for forgiveness. Okay, and so I expect the administration does not want to hear about these becoming loans. So they need to do something, okay, to make sure that they're not loans. And the two things that they can do administratively, both between the SBA and Treasury, okay, so the administration politically can do this without Congress, is they can change what the purpose is, okay, what you can spend the money on, and they can change the length of time. And neither of those they need Congress for. I'm not as certain about the other permissible uses, okay? Not other permitted. I'm not expecting necessarily the reduction, because there's a strong feeling that this was for payroll, and politically it sounds good that you use this for payroll. I am expecting the length of time to use it to get extended. So Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin, who I hope I am just long forgotten about being on his desk for a couple minutes, but Steve has the power to do that, and he had a meeting last week with the Restaurant Association, and quite honestly, if he ever wants to be able to eat in a restaurant again, he should extend extend the length of time. So I am very optimistic about that, but I will keep you posted on it. Also, hitting the FTEs has gotten easier with all the changes they made, so I think most of us can hit that without a problem. I haven't sat with anybody's numbers that I couldn't help make work for the FTE part, and the spend I think we're going to be fine with. So, but remember, I will be here every night, 8 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern, live in the Nart's private Facebook group. I am here every night. Okay, these videos and all the information I directly quote is copied over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon, for all the people that aren't members, for all the people that aren't even in resale. Give it out to everybody. Help everybody get to the other side of this. We want everybody on the other side. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, window washer, car reseller, whatever they are. We want to help them get to the other side. So share this information out with all your friends, okay? Because we are here to help them. If you need to contact me to go over your specific situation, talk about you, because you are important. And your situation is different, okay, and unique. Everybody has a little bit of uniqueness in this. You just reach out to me via email. It's Neil, Neil, @ECIstores.com. Neil@ECIstores.com is the place to get me. Before we go, things to cover. We got in my new quote book that Vina sent me, Everyday Courage, which has got a year's worth of quotes, okay? Year's worth of quotes, okay? Everything you want, our quote of the day, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Thank you, Vina, for that. Our Good Morning, Good Night book. Our Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start the program every night. Every night we start the program with a Good Morning, Good Night book. For those of you that were not here at the top of the program, our good morning today was, good morning. I know it seems like everyone left without you for the party, and those stepsisters suck, but us woodland creatures are on your side. Our good night tonight is good night. I know it seems like everyone is at the Prince's Ball all the time, but it's okay to go home before midnight and kick off your shoes. Look at the artwork on that today, people. That is our good morning, good night book tonight. I will be back tomorrow night live. In between, I'll be returning your calls and emails and catching up on things. But I will be back here tomorrow live at 8 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night. Today is Wednesday, so I hope to catch you all there. Because you, and most especially you, are not alone running this store. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. It's dinner time.